Dear friends, so we are again back on a session, a video session, which will help you to complete the week 2 assignment, especially PPT 6. And by this time, you know the assignment this time on PPT 6 is pretty interesting. You are going to make a video of yourself like this by any device you can use, and then you are going to post it, explaining what book you have read which has really left a long impact on you. For several years you have been influenced by it, still influenced by it, and now when you present that content of the book in very short, say about 2 to 5 minutes after introducing yourself, how do you see it in the light of this new understanding of foundations of Indian culture, and especially this particular PPT 5, which is glimpses of Indian literature. So that is the assignment, and to help you out that this is the small presentation. So let us go to the presentation part of it. This has been already sent to you, I believe, and you can straight away go through that. So when we talk of Indian literature, we must understand what is the significance of it. Aurobindo says that word, in ancient India, it was very clearly understood that word itself has got great power. The word has got a very specific power, and if we are able to use a word very effectively, shabda, or using your vak, your vani, it can be as good as telling the truth. So it has got a power of telling truth, or explaining truth, expressing truth. It has got a power to even materialize things. If you are speaking something, it will happen. So these are very great ideas to understand what word can be, what is its power, and how this power can be used most effectively, so that we can explain the truth, we can exercise the truthful living, and we can also help each one to elevate themselves. And among all the arts which appeal to a human soul through eyes or ears or whatever, to just to understand at a particular expression of spirit, of aesthesis or creative mind of people, it is a literature which can be the most flexible, which can have the most many-sided self-expression. You must have seen that when you read a written document, let us say a novel, just to take example, or a poetry, then you can create your own images, you can have your own way of experiencing it. When somebody puts it in a picture, then there is some fixity, as the artist has depicted, that is the way to understand it. When somebody puts it further into a motion picture, still there is more fixity in it, in the sense already what those words or sentences can mean has been produced in front of your eyes. So in literature this flexibility is highest, because each one can have his own novel, each one can have his own motion picture from that. That is the simplest understanding of this. And more the flexibility, or more the room left for the involvement of the reader or any experiencer of the art, more you leave the room for him or her, more is going to be the power of that particular media to elevate it. That's why, again coming back, word has got the highest possibility of it. If it is used well, it can have most damaging part also, the vice versa. It can be used badly, or it can be used greatly. So it is a word used in all its power of clear figure, or its threads of suggestion, which carries to us most subtly and variably the shades and turns and teeming significances of the inner self in its manifestation. So there is a inner self, or there is a Atma, the divine part of it, and if it is going to manifest it, if you want to see how well, how subtly, how variably in different shades it can come, then the best way to do it, the best media for it can be literature by a great classical person, classical vibhuti, or a saint, or a great author. So value of thought, the beauty of forms, and its role in raising the soul These are the things which Indians understood very well, from the ancient Upanishad to the classics, epics, Puranas, the works of Kalidas, Bhas, Bhagavati, Bhartrihari. All these people have used it. Patanjali, Chanakya, all the Shastras and Nitis. So they have understood that thought has got all that value. If you want to do something greatly, then thought has to be well nurtured, well expressed, and then it can be given a beautiful form, most flexible and subtle form, in the form of the word. And that's why greatness of the literature first lies in what is the subject matter of it, what is the worth of its substance, on what substance a literature is produced, what criteria, what subject of life has really been the center of it. That makes a lot of difference. Then what is the value of thought which is trying to express that substance, and how much beautifully those forms are coming out, and also the degree to which it can satisfy the highest conditions of art of speech. It can raise the soul and life, and the ideal mind of people, or ideal mind of that age, and ideal mind as seen by the culture, can be cultivated through this type of literature. It is the most representative spirits of that race or the culture. They try to present it for the others. As if we ask, what in both these respects is the achievement of Indian mind? Suppose somebody asks that, what has been the achievement? Okay, you said all these things, that it should depict the ideal mind, it should be the way to elevate the soul, it should be the highest beauty of the forms and great substance. How much is the contribution of India? Where can you put India in this scale? Then we must say that the Sanskrit as well as the Prakrit literature has done one of the greatest jobs among the all the literature of humankind, and we can surely say that it is very difficult to deny the value of that. It is very difficult to debate on that, because the language, to begin with, the language itself which was used by them, Sanskrit, and then Sanskritodbho, a lot of other languages, it was such a great way of expressing it. It is a perfected language. So most of the it was majestic as well as sweet. There was so much of poetry in that, so much of sweetness in that, so much of rhythm in the Sanskrit language. As we all know, it is both quality as well as in the abundance of it. There has been great creations in India, and there was a lot of potent originality, there was a lot of force, but at the same time there was also a beauty of life, a lot of rasa in that, a lot of sap of life was expressed in that. And in their substance and art and structure, in their grandeur and justice and charm of speech, in the height and width of the reach of the spirit, they stand evidently among the first rank among the world's greatest literatures, great literatures. This is how Aurobindo says that, look at the substance of these arts and structure, look at the grandeur, look at the charm of speech and justice, and look at the height and width of its reach, and then you will see that this is among one of the greatest literatures. And now also universally we have recognized, people have recognized abroad also, in West also, that expression, as far as expression perfection is concerned, Sanskrit is unparalleled. It is most scientific way also, its grammar has been perfected, the way to form the words has been very well chosen. One word can have many meanings, and many meanings can have one word, and therefore it has got a lot of subtleness, it has got a lot of depth in its very impregnated small couplets, or even part of the sentence also can be becoming a mantra. So this mantric value was there because of the beauty and the charm and the poetry in it. It was sweet and flexible, strong and clearly formed, full and vibrant, it was subtle, and all these characteristics you can say. Then we have the people, the consistency and the continuity we find from the Veda to the Upanishad, then the mighty structures of Mahabharata and Ramayana, then there is Kalidas, Bhagavati, Bhartrihari, Jaidev, so many other then there is Jatakas, Panchatantra, Dhammapada, Tulsidas, Vidyapati, Chandidas, Ramprasad, Ramdas, Tukaram, Tiruvalluvar, Kamban, and then Nanak, Kabir, Mirabai. There are in number of people. There were infinite number of people, all southern Shaiva saints, Vaishnava saints, Alvas, Nayanars, then Bhagavatas, in Nath Sampradaya, or in Bengal there were saints with Ram Chaitanya. The list is endless, because this was a consistent way of again and again putting the same thought in both Sanskrit as well as the local languages or the Prakrit dialects, and again writing commentaries on Gita, commentaries on Veda Upanishads, and then a lot of philosophy again put into the local form and the examples. So we see in Veda Upanishads and Mahabharata, we see example where the early mind of India, it is a magnificent youth of the nation. There was a fathomless spiritual insight already there, and very subtle intuitive vision, and a deep, clear and greatly outlined intellectual and ethical thinking. Then these Vedas were also full of heroic action, creation, and they were founded and traced the plan and made the permanent structure of Indian culture and civilization, which is represented by these great four creations: Veda, Upanishads, Ramayana, and Mahabharata. Veda and Upanishads are there, and then these two epics are there, which have really you cannot easily parallel them in any other literature. You can see the highest expression of India in the Upanishads. Upanishads, Sri Aurobindo says, is the supreme work of Indian mind, and that it should be so, that the highest self-expression of its genius, the sublimest poetry, greatest creation and the thought, is not just a literary or a poetical masterpiece. Of course it's a masterpiece, but it's not only that, it is also a large flood of spiritual revelation of this direct and profound character. And this is very significant fact, because it shows how unique Indian mentality has been, how unusually they are turned always to spirituality. And Upanishads are therefore at once a very profound religious scriptures, because they record deepest spiritual experiences, documents of intuitive philosophy, and their inexhaustible light, power and largeness, whether written in verse or in prose or spiritual poems, but their unfailing inspiration all over the world. Even now, so many thinkers, scientists, mathematicians and administrators have been very vocal about the inspiration it has given. It has inspired sciences and philosophies all over. We know that Pythagoras and Plato and Neoplatonism or Gnosticism, you will see in Sufism or many philosophies in the West, these same ideas are there in German metaphysics, where Upanishadic ideas are again coming back in a different form. So most of the modern thought also has taken it, has absorbed the essence of it, and it promises a revolution both in philosophical as well as religious thinking. Hence, they are filtering in through many direct influences, slowly pouring through direct and open channels. There is hardly a main philosophical idea which cannot find an authority or a seed or indication in these antique writings. So, thinkers who had no better past or background, they only thought that this can be a barbaric or animistic ignorance, but those ideas are now straight away ruled out. Those biased ideas by early thinkers and Western Indologists have been now scrapped, and people now know the real value of these scriptures. So it has got an irresistible, unwalled perception that has gone through the intuitive and psychological, and then to sheer spiritual vision. So these two first are the visible foundation of our spiritual religious being. And Vedas gave us the first types and figures of these things as seen and formed by spiritual intuition, and then psychological and religious experience. The Upanishads consistently breaking through and beyond form and symbol and images, but not abandoning them, using forms, using symbols, using images, but at the same time transcending them. They always ensure that they will reveal in some unique way a unique kind of poetry, the ultimate and unsurpassable truths of self and of God. So these are some of the great ideas about Upanishads. And even though later on there was so much of development, as I said, in the Prakrit languages all over India, still the foundation remained the same. They have been very clear in attributing the origin to the seed of Vedas and Upanishads or the epics. And therefore, after that, we have so much of beautiful development of intellect in life, in ethical, aesthetic, psychic, emotional, sensuous, and